What's up? So we're the blender's going off in here. So I was watching a guy on TikTok who was a mechanic who gets nightmare jobs sent from other shops. That's pretty typical for guys in our industry who are really good at certain things. Like, we have an electronic guy, and that's all he does is electronics, and he doesn't do any bolt-ons, meaning he doesn't do brakes and front end. So Jerry is our electronic guru. That's what he sleeps, eats, and does. So being that he does that all the time, that is his passion, and he does nothing else. So, and where I'm going with this is that this YouTuber was saying that he takes his work home with him. And for him, if he can't figure it out during his work shift, wherever he works, he didn't say, and this was electrical, and not that he's the electrical guy, but he was just saying that in his world of what he does, you know, if 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, 15 different shops can't fix a car, they usually wind up in his shop, wherever realm of the world he's in.
That sounds like you.
And he takes on that work. I actually would have sent nightmare electrical jobs to Jerry, and stuff that I'm familiar with. I, of course, would do, but he said that, you know, he cannot sleep at night when he has a problem with a vehicle that he cannot figure out. And sometimes it is what it is. There is no angel that you can call sometimes, and even Ford Boss Me has to reach out to in his feelers to people that he has in his pocketbook there. Hey man, I haven't seen this, I need some help, and rightfully so. And I'm sure he does too. He goes home and says, I can't figure this out. You know, and for me, it's the same thing. Sometimes we just have issues, and I'll just give you for instance, for me, and it's, for instance, could be every day, because the parts quality will make you nuts. Like, you think you have this job resolved, and the quality of the parts garbage, and the quality of the parts garbage, and the quality of the parts garbage. So it racks your brain. I don't know the guys who can turn it off. What are you doing to do it? And for me, well, I wanted to give an example, and I can give an example almost every day. I was talking about tire monitors, and then somebody was saying, oh yeah, I haven't had any luck with those. And then I was saying, oh wow, I had luck with that product, right? And then I didn't have luck with that product. I was like, all right, wow, look at that. They tore down the thing. What was over there? Remember it? Was that building? That's in Ocean City. So, tire monitors, I'm using them. We're having great success from them. The cost of goods is, you know, great. I can make a profit and pass the savings on to the customer and still pay my bills and pay my employees. And then boom, my next run of tire monitors, they're failing like as soon as I install them. A week or two after the customer's been in the car, and I'm like, what the, you know, I take that home. Like, I just had a guy come back and say my tire light's on, and then I run around the car with the scan tool, and I'm like, all right, well, all the tire monitors are working now. What's going on? And then I'm like, this spare tire was 1 pound under what it's supposed to be. It's 32 is minimum. He was at 31. You know, and I seen his face back. Now, this is after I already did 3 failed during the job, 3 2 weeks later after the job, and then I seen him back for a 3rd time, and I'm like, what is going on? And I, you know, scanned the car and scanned the tire monitors, and like, he's got a spare tire that's low. Like, you know, that's stressful to see that customer back 3 or 4 times, unless you know, and you tell the customer, hey, this is going to be a process. We need to, you know, do this, we need to do that, and drive it. And, you know, let's see what we get. Oil consumption on and on and on. So I think about that all night long. And then I get customers who don't come back and say that what I did was, you know, phenomenal, although it's on my mind, and I say, oh, wow, that guy came back, we swapped the product, or, you know, I readjusted something, and I don't see him back. Sometimes I don't know if that has been resolved, or they just gave up on me, and then I'll see him show up. I'm like, hey, what happened with that check engine light? Oh, everything was fine. You know, whatever you did, fixed it. You know, I think about that.
Hello.
And then I have a car in the shop that has electronic parking brake actuators on the front calipers, right? Now, I've done hundreds of these jobs without a scan tool, and we did one before we did this job. I think it's a 2020 or 2021, and we don't use a scan tool. We go into the system, we do the brake job, we manually retract the pistons, put the car back together, put it up, and every friggin' warning light's on. I'm like, what's going on? Well, not sure if 100% that it was technician error or just that the parking brake actuators failed going back. I really don't know, but I got issues, and I'm thinking about what happened, because we do this the same way on every parking brake, electronic parking brake, and we don't have problems. And then we have problems. But what I did notice about this car, that it had new calipers in the back, so I'm wondering if it's just a garbage design with having parking brake actuators on the front calipers. For the fact is that the stopping power and the heat from the front calipers is probably 3 times what it is on the rear system. So not that the parking brake's on when you're driving, that the abuse, the fluid and the plastics and the electronics are under, right, on the front calipers, and is the heat transfer causing those products to prematurely foul. Now I have to think about this, right? The next time I do a Buick Enclave or whatever, Encore or something that has front parking brake actuators, I gotta tell the customer, hey, this may turn out to be a bigger job than just brake pads and rotors or brake pads, because I can't tell you if your electronic actuators are going to respond properly when I do the job. Now, we've had great success on the rear, and this was the first time I've seen front actuators fail during the service, because it just normally doesn't happen. But here we go. I've been thinking about that because I have to deal with that Monday morning. So and I'm sure there's some other dudes out there scratching their head every day about the engineered crap, the poor quality parts. Are we losing our mind, the good technicians, on we know how to fix a car, but then we can't keep a car fixed for certain reasons. I just can't decide. This month I can tell you how many parts failed, OEM, meaning right off the dealership shelf, last 4 months, and how many aftermarket parts are just crap right out of the box, even with poor fitment. So yeah, so how many guys can't sleep at night when they're trying to figure out difficult jobs? I'm not talking about guys who are changing light bulbs and changing oil and rotating tires. I mean, I'm sure they have their own demons with did they tighten wheels up, and did they put oil in the car? But some of them probably don't even care. I do.
You do.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.